Yes? Okay. If we're all ready, I'll go ahead and welcome everybody to the County of Newell Municipal Planning Commission meeting for July the 10th, 2025. Welcome to the meeting. And we have guests today, so let's do a round of introductions right off the hop. I'll call this meeting to order, by the way. Neil, go ahead.
I'm Neil Johnson, Division 10 Councillor.
Good morning, Amanda Philpott, Division 8 Duchess.
Good morning, Ellen Unruh, Division 7 around the village of Rosemary.
Hi, welcome. My name is Greg Screever, Division 5, Lake New Resort and Castles area.
Good morning again. I am Kelly Chrisman, and I'm counselor for Division 6, which is the west side of the county, and I will chair the MPC meeting.
Morning.
There you go. Arnold Dirksen, Division 9, the gym area. Welcome.
Good morning, Matt Finsky, CAO.
Good morning, Holly Johnson, Scandia, Rainier, and Bow City areas, Division 4.
Hello, Adina Scandrup, Division 2, the area including the hamlet of Tilly.
Good morning, I'm Lynette Kopp, Division 3, the Patricia Millicent area.
Catherine Siakla, Communications Officer.
Good morning, Emma Sinclair, Planning and Development Administrative Assistant.
Good morning, Sandra Stanway, Brooks Bulletin.
Hello, Shannalee Simpson, Development Officer.
Hi, I'm Maria Jackson, Supervisor of Planning and Development.
Good morning, I'm Braden Schroeder with Badlands Electric.
Good morning, I'm Chad Hansen, I'm a resident.
Good morning, I'm Bill Jackson.
Thank you for coming in this morning. We have an agenda in front of us, and there is one on the screen for our visitors as well. Adoption, there's no reason for excused for the meeting, so I'll slip down to it. Oh, we do too, Dan Short. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Adina. All in favor of Adina's motion to excuse Dan Short? Thank you, that is carried. Minutes from the meeting, item 3 on the agenda. June 19th was our last meeting. Amanda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Any questions, comments? All in favor of Amanda's motion? That is carried then. Thank you. Are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, a motion to adopt the agenda. Ellen moves. All in favor of Ellen's motion? That is carried. Thank you. Question period. Catherine, or notice of motion from MPC? Anything in the queue? Nothing at this point. 7.1, bylaws. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong agenda. My gosh. I'm like, what? Bylaws? I was between conversations. All right, let's go to development permit, permitted use. Shannalee, is there anything you'd like to highlight? Okay, are there any questions of Shannalee? Seeing none, we'll accept your reports for information. Item 7.1, Shannalee.
Thank you. Development permit 2025042 is for the operation of a self-storage business with a variance to the setback adjacent to a county road on the north side of the property. The self-storage business will include up to 8 shipping containers and the storage of up to 32 recreational vehicles and boats. The parcel is completely fenced and there's access to the parcel at all times for their customers. The applicant is requesting a 5-meter variance to the north, which would bring the 30 meters down to 25 meters. There was no issues with administration. There was no response from adjacent landowners. We circulated to the Brooks IDP and they had no issues and did not request a meeting. We are recommending approval with conditions, and Mr. Jackson is here to respond to questions.
Mr. Jackson, would you like to come forward up next to Maria there? If anybody has any questions, is there anything you'd like to add?
Just like to use the property to the best of my ability and get the most out of the property that I can and just move forward.
Okay.
That's all.
Questions? I have a question for staff. How far is the reach when we send out notification? What is the reach? Channelie?
The notifications go to all of the adjacent landowners where the land is touching. If there's a road, then it would be across the road. So it would be just the perimeter around where the parcel is.
Okay, great, thank you. Go ahead, Holly.
Good morning again. Good morning. So the red rectangle is where was it secants are going? Yeah. Where do you see the recreational vehicles going on that lot? Where do you plan to put those?
As you can see there, they're lined up and there's lots for each individual one that are mapped out. There's signage that they can back in their trailers and they're allowed. It's 12 feet wide by 30 feet long. Okay. And it doesn't matter if it's a boat or a car or whatever, it's just lined up.
Is that a gravel road, paved road?
It's a gravel road.
Thank you.
Gravel road, yeah.
Okay.
I built that subdivision and had it approved by the county. And the county took it over and.
Thank you for that history. Lynette.
So the yellow or the red triangle or rectangle is already something that's sitting there, or that's where the plan is to put shipping containers? I wasn't quite clear on that.
That's the plan where to put things. It's in the future.
And your main reason for asking for a variance is just to get closer to the property line. Exactly. How did you land on this space?
How did I land on this space?
Yes.
It was a very poor lot, and it was something that we thought maybe we should develop ourselves. And just, we made something out of nothing and tried to make a goal of a storage yard. There was a want there. We were involved in the towing business, and there was a want for storage. People came to us and said, can we leave our trailer here? And we didn't want it in the tow yard, so we developed this property.
Okay. Kind of missed my question.
Sorry.
So you're asking for a variance.
Yes.
How did you land on this amount of space for a variance? Like, why didn't you go right to the property line, or why didn't you stay within the bylaw?
Well, if I stay with the bylaw, I can't use the lot to the best of my ability. Like, there's a lot of land sitting there empty with nothing on it. And so, to me, it just makes sense to use that land with the variance so that we can use the land to the best of our ability. Does that make sense to you?
It does, but there's also reasons for variance. So that's what I'm struggling with. Lynette.
So when you need a variance, it's for something that's sitting stationary. If, let's just say along that edge, there was vehicles parked that can be moved, you don't need a variance then.
But if I put in 20-foot sea cans, I'd like to have that variance so I can put them as close to the fence as I can get them.
Channelie.
I believe the reason for that number is because of the right-of-way on the north of the parcel. He can't have the shipping containers on the right-of-way, so we had to accommodate for that to begin with before we could even start the development. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what right-of-way is that? Sorry? The blue lines. Is that a gas line or a,
The right-of-way is for gas and telephone,
thank you,
yes.
yeah. Along the road allowance. Okay. Okay. Arno, go ahead. Just use your mic.
I should do that. We'll turn this thing on. I would make a motion to approve as per the recommendation.
Okay, we have a motion. Any further comments, questions, concerns? Adina?
I have so our bylaw says 30 meters. I'm just wondering the purpose of that versus the 25. What could the possibility be?
Maria?
So this is actually something we've been discussing. Because this is an internal subdivision road, it's not a main township range road. We should look at potentially updating that to reduce the 30 meters because the intent of these types of lots is to utilize the space as much as possible. So in this lot, because it's a corner lot, the 30 meters would be applicable for the north and the west corner, which reduces this area, and a lot of these corner lots significantly. So almost half of the lot could be utilized, maybe 60%, let's say. So that's probably not ideal, and we need to do some more discussions with municipal services just to make sure we can figure out what that number would be so that we don't allow development to reduce the integrity of the road, but also ensure that these lots can be used to the best of their ability.
Okay. Thanks, Maria. We have a motion. Any other questions? All in favor of Arno's motion? That is carried then.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in this morning. Much appreciated. We always have questions. Take care. 7.2.
Development permit 2025045 is for an installation of a ground mount solar for individual use. The solar is large enough to be considered a discretionary use. The solar array measures 4 meters wide and 46 meters long and is going to be installed between the road right-of-way and the dugout on the southeast end of the parcel. The applicant is requesting a variance of 5 meters, bringing the setback from 30 meters down to 25. There was a letter submitted for the variance, and specifically locating it on the north side of the dugout where the trees would create shade and panels will take away from their efficiency if it's located in a different area. There was no response from adjacent landowners. Administration, Municipal Services has responded that snow drifting might be an issue, but the solar panels are usually 3 to 5 feet off the ground, so that should help with the snow drifting where the snow can drift underneath. We are recommending approval with conditions, and Mr. Schroeder is here to answer questions.
And Mr. Endersby, I see you on the screen. That's not Mr. Endersby. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, Mr. Schroeder, you're on the hot seat. Any questions? I guess we got all our questions out on the first one. The first variance request. Holly.
I'm just wondering about what you'd mentioned, Maria, about roads and that amount. I'm thinking about visual impact. We don't have that situation here. How busy are those roads? Is that going to be an issue? Is there a lot of traffic?
Maria?
So I guess another thing that maybe I didn't discuss about variances is that we have a standard for all development within a land use district. So we're looking at shops and garages and houses and all the things. But then when we get an application, we can look at it for the merits of that specific location and that specific development. So It also gives us the opportunity to circulate to adjacent landowners and internal departments so that they can let us know what they think about the location and that type of development. So in this case, because they are requesting the variance of greater than 50%, we've circulated to internal departments, including municipal services, and they did not have any comments on this specific application on this location.
Okay. Lynette, question?
When we have the larger solar developments, we are concerned with the glare and such. I feel like that was part of what Holly maybe was wondering about when you're having it right beside a road. Are we concerned about that?
Maria?
I think that's a valid concern, and that should be addressed in the circulation process by the departments that know the most about that road and safety portion of it.
I'm wondering if, Braden, you can address that. Is there a chance this is anti-glare or anything scientific like that?
As far as I know, I don't think there's any such thing as an anti-glare solar module out there. Nor have I guess, come to think of it while traveling along the #1 highway outside of Brooks that I've noticed ever any glare off of that very large array. I think it'd be pretty tough for the angle of the arrays to match up with the sun to exactly glare on a driver that's driving perpendicular to the roadway.
The setback is considerably further in that one along the #1 highway than what we're proposing here, though, granted, right?
Right, yeah.
Holly?
So when we're looking at arrays, I'm thinking of one, for example, that's in Rolling Hills. It does not face the highway, like the panels are, the highway goes this way and the panels are going this way. Like it's opposite to the road. When you're looking at development, do you specifically do that the panels are not pointing towards a road? You make them perpendicular, or does it depend? Is it site specific? Because I'm wondering again about glare, because we have arrays and I know there is glare. It's nowhere near a road, but that's why I'm just wondering about that glare issue.
When you're planning and installing an array, generally speaking, 99% of the time they're facing directly south unless you've got a mounting system that rotates on an axis, right? So in this case, when you've got a roadway running east-west, no matter what, that array is going to be facing south, directly south, right? It is unavoidable, yeah. I mean, and as far as if it causes undue glare on drivers on the roadway, you'd have to do a study on it, I guess, right? I'm not too sure how you would actually determine whether or not it would actually cause any undue glare, right? And if it does, it's only going to be without a doubt, it's going to be only a specific time of year where the angle of the sun mixed with the angle of the array perfectly matches where a driver is on that roadway, right?
Yeah. Thanks for that, and thank you for pointing out that this is an east-west road. And the arrays will be facing south. That makes it easier for us as well. And Neil, go ahead.
Yeah, I live on a solar farm over there. Drive that road several times a day. There's never been an issue with glare one way or the other. And that's the one right up by town over here.
Are you at the proper setback, or did you receive a variance for yours? We have to be comparing apples with apples.
We have a bit of a setback there, but as far as glare goes, there is it's a black surface. It's not like a mirror.
Yeah.
There's no issue there whatsoever.
Yeah. We just need to be sure that you're giving us good information as far as comparative. You're dealing with a setback, and Braden's proposing a variance to our setback, so.
Well, I was mainly talking about the glare.
The glare, okay.
I mean, there is no glare.
Okay. Maria?
The variance that's being requested for this development permit is 25 meters, and the setback is 30 meters. So we're looking at just a 5-meter variance. The reason that this, which is actually a setback that could have been approved by Shanley as the development officer, but because this is a larger solar installation than is allowable in the land use bylaw, that's the reason it's become discretionary and come to Municipal Planning Commission.
Okay, good. Thank you. Lynette?
I'm ready to make the motion to approve with conditions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for Braden? Seeing, hearing none. All in favor of Lynette's motion? That is carried. All right, thank you so much for coming in. On to 7.3, Shanley.
Thank you. Development permit 2025046 is the application for a ground mount solar that is oversize. The solar array is split into 2 rows. Each row measures 4.5 meters by 15 meters and is proposed to be installed between the road right-of-way and the dwelling on the southwest end of the parcel. The applicant is requesting a 7-meter variance, bringing the 30 meters down to 23. They have submitted a reason, a letter for the reason of the variance, and again, it's because of the shading, and they don't want it to interfere with the pivot path. There was no response from adjacent landowners. Administration, again, mentioned the snow drifting, that could be an issue. We're recommending approval with conditions, and I believe Lewis from Western Solar is online to respond to questions.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, it's just Dan from Western Solar online, so, but Lewis wasn't able to attend.
Okay, well, welcome to our meeting, Dan. We have an application before us. How do we have questions for Dan regarding this application? We do have some letters attached. No, wrong one. Okay, thank you. All right, how do you wish to handle this one? Holly.
Just a quick question. We're getting these oversized ones, but they're all basically the same size, right? What we normally see on a field, that's what we're talking about with all these?
Shanley.
They are not. They are they are different sizes. There's one coming up, I think. I don't know if it's this one. This one's 1,453 square feet, and I believe Braden's was smaller than that. So they are different sizes. Yeah, Braden's was close. It's maybe the last one that's bigger, and it's substantially bigger. 7,266 is the last one, and Dan will also be speaking to that one, and Chad.
Okay. Sorry. So we're on 7.3. Let's stay focused, and this is asking for a variance as well. Holly?
I would move approval.
Okay. No other hands? All in favor of Holly's motion? That is carried then. Thank you. 7.3.2. Shanley.
Thank you. Development permit 2025047 is again an application for an installation of a ground mount solar. It is in 2 rows as well, and is proposed to be installed between the north and the south pipeline right-of-way. They are requesting a variance of 7 meters to the north and the west, bringing the 30 meters down to 23 meters. The reason for the variance is because of the location of the pipeline right-of-way, and so that they could utilize more land with the agriculture. There was 2 adjacent landowner letters that are included in your package. Staff, again, mentioned the snow drifting for this application as well. Mr. Hansen has supplied a letter as well that is in your package as a rebuttal to the adjacent landowner letters, and he is here to speak. Dan from Western Solar is online to speak, and I just wanted to make one comment. There was mention in the letters about administration, and Emma and I double-checked to make sure that all of the adjacent landowners were notified, and there was, we are required to have 21 days of notification, and there was 28 days of notification for this application. Mr. Hansen is here to respond.
Thank you for addressing those issues ahead of time, and welcome to the table. Questions for Shanalee or Mr. Hansen or Dan? Holly.
So this is a large installation. So how many pivots is this supposed to supply power to?
This is for 6 irrigation systems, 6 quarter sections.
Okay. Holly?
So how are you managing that power then? Like, are your inverters on all there and you're running through lines? How are you doing it?
Yeah, so this will be one system with one inverter, and it's on a 2-way meter. And so it will net out against all the other irrigation systems that we run on that same feeder line. And so that was sort of our motivation on this, is that as long as these pivots are on the same feeder line, we can do one installation instead of putting one in every single corner and then all the fixed costs that come with that.
Probably a Dan question. Why are you doing one inverter instead of more than one? Because you usually have more than one inverter.
Yeah. So for on this one, what we can do is kind of, as Chad alluded to, we can aggregate many sites into one. So we can use some of the efficiencies, the economies of scale to put one system in. In addition to that, location is always a tricky one because we're very cognizant of the fact that we don't want to go into usable farmland. So it's kind of working with the client to see where we can find land that that we're not going to intrude on good productive land. So with Chad, we kind of came down to this one piece with the corner here that wasn't overly productive, and then we tried to offset all of his irrigation usage with one project.
Greg?
This is a T intersection. Where's the stop sign? Is it on TR 192 or 140?
It is on the westbound road, so Township 192.
So Range Road 140 would be receiving, if there was a glare, Range Road 140 maybe driving into it, possibly.
Yeah, if I could maybe speak on the glare, sorry, Chad. Like the way we set the panels, it's at a 30, I don't know if you can see my hand, but it's at a 30-degree tilt. So when the sun is the most intense is when it is overhead. And when it's overhead, it's just shooting the glare back up into the sky. So these are not like a tracker system where you could set it at a very steep tilt that would reflect sun onto the road. It's set at a 30-degree tilt, so it's quite a bit more flat. So yeah, you'll just be shooting the glare back up into the sky, if anything. And then the comment was also made, like these are, they do have the glass on front, so there's no doubt about that. But it is a black back sheet, so the glare is very limited as well. But the glare onto the road, I don't see ever being an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for a motion? I move that we approve as recommended by staff. I think the efficiency they're looking for here should be accommodated because it looks like a good project to me. So.
I'm just wondering, we've had 2 neighbors who are thinking there are issues. Is there merit in some of us going to look at this since we're seeing more and more of these? And do we need to get our eyes on this? I guess I'm kind of wondering if we're doing due diligence. I mean, I know you guys are looking at things, but do we need to see it? I'm just feeling a little concerned to get landowner concerns about it if we're, looking into it enough. I don't know.
I was also kind of feeling the same way, or that we should at least be addressing some of their concerns, like outright. Like, for example, one of the ones was sight lines. When you come to that stop sign, will you be able to see both ways? It's up off the ground. I'm assuming it will just be on pylons. Like, do we know for sure that the sight lines will be clear enough at that intersection? Et cetera. Like, what else? The snow, I'm thinking we're probably okay because it's on the south side of that intersection, but like, can we address some of the?
I think we have. Dan, did you want to add anything about snow or the height of the solar?
I'd happily go through them one by one. I think Chad did a really good job of highlighting or addressing them in his letter as well. But the sight lines on the road, there's still 85 feet between where the edge of the solar is going to be to the edge of the road, which is about 6 car lengths. Plus, that car has to come to a complete stop. So I don't know that there would be much concerns about approaching a stop sign with 85 feet and not having the opportunity to see oncoming traffic. So again, I think Chad kind of did that math already for us, so I appreciate it. But even if you
just so you know, Dan, let me interrupt for a minute. Just so you know, MPC just received Dan's letter, so we haven't. Some of us haven't had time to read it in its entirety, but certainly appreciate the time that it took to write it, and I know staff will appreciate it as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So yeah, I think like as far as sight lines go, just given that is a stop sign, I mean, people roll through stop signs every day, but it is a stop sign, so people are going to be slowing down dramatically as they approach that. So I don't know that would be overly controversial. And then I think we talked about the snow drifting already. Mm-hmm. Yeah, given that it's on the south side. And then visual impact, alluding to the fact that they felt it was an eyesore. I don't know that not liking the looks of solar would be grounds for overturning it, considering he's trying to better the corner, which is right now dry and unproductive. And I think those were the 3 main ones.
Great, thank you. Arno?
Oh, I just think further to that, the efficiency that they've talked about, the fact that you've got 6 different installations that you're addressing with this power, I mean, you could reflect that out into more than 1, potentially 3, potentially 6 different installations. I think the fact that they've found some efficiency here that should be good for the business too, that's all things that we should support. So I think I'm comfortable with going ahead.
Yeah, in my opinion, with respect to the sight lines for drivers, if TR 192 was a through road with a stop sign, that would be a totally different situation. People blow stop signs all the time, but because it's a T intersection, I don't have a concern so much about it. You look at something like Humboldt or something like that where there was sightline problems. That's what my concern is. The drivers driving east, west, and north, south can't see each other with something in that nature. This is not that. If it was a through road, I'd be thinking a little bit more about it. But for me, the sightlines isn't, isn't too much of an issue.
approve as recommended. Are there any other comments, concerns? I'm going to call the question. All in favor of Arno's motion? That is carried. You're good to build. Thank you very much for coming in and helping us with the decision. Much appreciated. Thank you,
everyone.
Dan, for coming on.
Yeah, have a great day.
You also. 8.1, Maria.
Thank you. This is a subdivision application that's being initiated by the Silver Sage Ag Society. They would like to subdivide a parcel that's 107 acres from the northwest of 2018-14 to be used as exhibition grounds. The subdivision will separate the lands utilized by the Silver Sage from lands that have an active well site. The lands are zoned special parks and public service, which includes the use of exhibition grounds, and this is consistent with the land use bylaw. The Agricultural Society would like to expand their services that are offered to the public, and the subdivision will give them the ability to purchase the lands that they are utilizing and would like to utilize in the future. Access to the proposed subdivision is from the Silver Sage Road on the north. That portion of Silver Sage Road is controlled by the City of Brooks. The city has indicated that they are not opposed to the subdivision or the potential for a new approach if required. However, that approval will be determined at the time the additional approaches may be required. So the current access is into the proposed subdivision, which means that that remnant parcel on the east side does not have physical access, but they can access that through the Silver Sage. A review of the wetland inventory indicates that there are noted wetlands present. There are no environmentally significant areas, but the south portion of the property does have a high potential to contain historic resources. The applicant will have to be aware of this when they are proposing new development, and they may have to work with those government agencies during the development stage. Information has been submitted from the AER indicating there are no abandoned wells in the quarter section. Comments from the circulation includes comments from AER that they have supplied a map and a list of sour wells to show the maximum setback for development in proximity to wells. The applicant is encouraged to contact the licensee to obtain current sour gas setback level designations and to discuss land use planning at the earliest stage of development. Alberta Transportation has responded that Section 18 and 19 of the matters related to subdivision and development regulations are not met. However, they grant approval for Municipal Planning Commission to vary those requirements as they are satisfied that the highway has sufficient capacity to accommodate the proposal. Fortis has indicated that an easement would be required to cover the small portion of power line, and they have included easement agreements for the applicant to review. The City of Brooks, TELUS, and Alberta Health Services have all indicated that they do not have concerns with the application, and there were no concerns raised by adjacent landowners or internal departments. So it is recommended that MPC approve the subdivision with conditions that all outstanding property taxes be paid, that the applicant supplies finalized utility right-of-way easements, such as that one from Fortis, prior to the final endorsement, and that a development agreement with the county be registered if required. Reserve is applicable for this subdivision, so there are two options for Municipal Planning Commission to consider. One, that municipal reserve be taken as money in place of land on the 107-acre parcel for a total of $149,388.45, with the actual amount to be determined at the time of finalization. And the second option would be that 10% municipal reserve requirement be deferred to the newly created parcel, and again, with the actual acreage to be determined at the time of finalization. Thank you.
And you have no recommendation either way on that topic?
Well, I could discuss the merits for consideration. So there MPC has deferred the municipal reserve requirement in the past when there is a large amount being requested. So because this amount is so significant, it could impact the applicant's plan in the future. That being said, if the money is paid now, then the requirement has been satisfied. And if they decide to subdivide any land in the future, then it is no longer applicable. And as land values increase, municipal reserve will also increase. That being said, because this is special parks and public service and they do supply opportunity for the public, if they want to develop further, there is the opportunity for the county to take land in place of money if there was a need for school, parks, recreation services in the future.
Okay. Thank you for that. Just wanted to be clear on, because we do need a direction, not just a motion. Neil?
Is it our call as to whether they take the money or the other option? Or is it their call? Like,
Yes,
I think
is.
we should do this motion, pass it. And I kind of think Silver Sage is not going to want to come up with $149,000. So maybe the subdivision with the deferral is the only way to go. It's a good, I mean, we have to support it. It's what Silver Sage wants to do, and we've already lent our support to them, and nobody else has objections, so I will actually make that motion.
And you're going to defer?
That, unless Silver Sage comes back and would actually like to pay the money.
Maria has a comment.
So if the motion is to defer, the Silver Sage Ag Society could at any time decide, hey, we'd like to remove this caveat off the title. Let's pay the money as per the policy at the time and remove it. So there is the option to deal with it at any time, even if there is no subdivision application.
Their call. Yeah, cool. That's the
Okay,
motion
so
I'll
your
make.
motion is to approve as recommended and defer.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? No? All right, I'm going to call the question. All in favor of Neil's motion? That is carried. We had no other business that I'm aware of. Okay, we had no post-agenda items. Is there a reason to go in camera? Seeing none. No information items. Any questions in the queue, Catherine? I'll adjourn this meeting.
I will suggest that if we can. Dan Short will not be able to be here today, so we need a motion to excuse Dan. Ellen, all in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. We have the minutes of the June 19th meeting that has been circulated. That's 3 weeks ago. I think that's why some of us are having trouble figuring out our mics. It's a long time to relearn the process, I guess, eh? So any errors or omissions or a motion to approve the minutes of the June 19th meeting would be in order. Holly, please. Motion to approve. Thank you. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Are there any post-agenda items that anyone has to add to the agenda today? Seeing none, a motion to approve the agenda as circulated. Kelly, please. All in favor? Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Question period or notices of motion. Are there any? Nothing out in the electronic field, and no one here has a notice of motion, so we'll move on. Let's move on to item number 9.1, which is scheduled, and we have a number of scheduled meetings in our meeting this morning, one at 11 and one at 11:30, but this one now at close to 10:45. The appointment of Regional Deputy Director of Emergency Management. Lane, if you'll take us through the details, please.
Good morning, Council. Stuart's away today, so we'll fill in for him. We have had Stuart appointed as the Director of Emergency Services and require a Deputy Director as well. That position and responsibility was previously filled by Constable John Nesbitt with our Senior Public or Community Peace Officer, and requesting that the position of Deputy Director of Emergency Services now be delegated to Corey Cochran.
Thank you, Lane. Are there any questions or comments? Kelly, go ahead.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. And welcome and congratulations to Corey Cochran, our Deputy Fire Chief, or Deputy Director of Emergency Services. Appreciate that. Okay. Thank you. Should we move back up to bylaws? Let's go to bylaw number 7.1, second and third reading. Go ahead, Lane, please.
So council has previously given first reading to this bylaw. You're in a position now to move forward with second and third reading unless there's some questions that we need to deal with first.
Okay, thank you, Lane. Are there any questions with regard to the fire bylaw? Seeing none, is someone prepared to move second reading? Adina?
I'll move second reading on that.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. And similarly, third reading. Is someone prepared to move third reading? Lynette, please. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lane. Let's move on to item 7.2, carrying on bylaw 2103-25, the plan for Scandia, block 2, lot 7, and plan Scandia as indicated there. Who's, oh, okay. Good morning, Maria, again. Welcome back.
Good morning. That went way quicker than I expected.
Yeah.
I have a land use amendment application to present to council today. This application is to redesignate 2 lots in Scandia from business hamlet to residential hamlet to allow for the current development to be used as a residence. The subject property is in the hamlet of Scandia. The location was once used as a coffee shop. However, the owner has a sale pending on the lots, and the purchaser would like to use the building as a residence. The adjacent parcels are zoned business. However, they are being assessed as residential properties as that is the current use of the adjacent parcels. The Scandia Hall is located adjacent to the rear yard of the property, and the EID Historical Park is adjacent to the front yard. Both are zoned Special Parks and Public Service District. The Business Hamlet District does not allow for a property to be used exclusively for residential purposes. The Residential Hamlet District allows for a dwelling or a mixed-use building should the owner decide to do business on those parcels in the future. It is recommended that first reading be given to Bylaw 2103-25 to redesignate lots in Scandia from Business Hamlet District to Residential Hamlet District. Should first reading be given, then administration will circulate to adjacent landowners and required referrals for their comments.
Thank you, Maria. So that's a recommendation for first reading. Any questions or comments? Or someone prepared to make a motion? Holly, go ahead, please.
So with the coffee barrel, if someone purchases, sorry. So with the coffee barrel, if someone purchases it and decides to live in it, part of it, and still run as a coffee shop, that is allowable under the residential? Is that what I understood?
Go ahead, Maria.
There is a mixed-use building in the residential hamlet district, which would allow for both the residents and the business. But the exclusive use as a residence in a business hamlet district is not an allowable use.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Neil?
Does that fit what's going on out there? What's the plans once it's sold? And
go ahead, Maria.
So these adjacent properties, I don't have control, that's okay. So north and the one directly south of those 2 lots, those are zoned business. However, they're being used as residences. There's no businesses being run out of those lots. So right now they're considered legal non-conforming, so they can continue to do that until they want to change. So if they want to add on to their house or construct a new house, something like that, then they're going to have to look at changing their land use district. I think that answers the question. Yeah? Close.
Okay, thanks. Maria, Holly, please.
Just to clarify, the sheds you see there, kind of directly on that corner, that's all Scandia honey. So that residence to the residence at the bottom, I'm so geographically impaired. That's a house, but everything else to that side is all Scandia honey. But to the other side is houses in the church.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions, comments, or someone prepared to make a motion? Lynette, please.
I'll make a motion for first reading.
Okay, thank you. We will put this out. We have a motion for first reading. All in favor, please indicate. Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Sure. Take the next one. We'll
bounce to 9.2.
Yeah, let's go to 9.2, the road closure. If you've...
Yeah, if you have time, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is a road closure application. We're requesting an approval to proceed from council. The purpose of this application is to close road allowances adjacent to the southeast of 23 and the northeast of 14, 2017, and road allowances adjacent to the west half of 26, 1917, to lease to the applicant to facilitate current irrigation practices. The subject lands are in Division 6, approximately 20 kilometers southeast of Bizano. All parcels are zoned Agriculture General District. There are no residential developments in the vicinity of the proposed road closures. The road allowance to be closed is 1.6 kilometers and 8 acres in the west half of 26, 1917, and 1 kilometer and approximately 5 acres in the southeast of 23 and northeast of 14, 2017. The applicant is actively irrigating the road allowances. And according to the aerial photo, one of the pivots has been in operation since before 2000, and the other was installed sometime before 2021. The application was circulated to internal departments. There were no concerns with the closure and lease of the road allowance, and it is recommended that council move the application to be advertised for a public hearing as a road closure and lease.
Thank you, Maria. Are there any questions? Neil?
I get to bring this up every time one of these comes through. You know what my question is too, don't you? How much you charging rent for those 8 acres? Better not be $10 for 10 years.
So the current lease rate is $100 per mile or portion thereof. So for 8 acres, it would be $200 a year. And then we request that they pay for 10 years. So it would be $2,000 for that 8 acre portion. And then the 5 acre portion, it would be a mile. So $100 plus a portion of a mile. So an additional $100. So the total for these two pivots would be $4,000 for a 10-year period.
That's where we have a little bit of a problem with these. That's probably 10% of what the going rate is at even a cheap rental rate. But that's not your problem right now. It's just I get to bring it up again. So I will make that motion.
Motion to approve. I will accept the motion, but we have a question. Go ahead, Holly. Thanks.
It's actually, a follow-up to Neil's question. I know this comes up frequently. Do we have a timeline of when we're going to bring that back again?
Go ahead, Maria.
The road closure project is a priority on my to-do list. And now that we have someone in our department that is eager and ready for new work, we will get that going as soon as possible. And part of that is reviewing the leases as well.
Okay, thank you, Maria. We have a motion on the floor. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion to approve and move to a public hearing? Thank you. Thanks, Maria. Sorry about that. Oh, no worries. This time, let's move to item number 8.5, the request for permits for golf carts on the county pathways. And we have some guests joining us today to present. I will start with introductions, and then we'll ask Mark to highlight the matter at hand for us. Neil, go ahead.
Good to see you guys here. Important topic to go over. My name is Neil Johnson, Division 10 Councillor.
Good morning, Amanda Philpott, Division 8, around Dutchess.
Good morning, Ellen Unra, and I represent the countryside around the village of Rosemary.
Good morning and welcome, Greg Screever, Division 5.
Good morning, I'm Kelly Chrisman, and I'm from the northwest side of the county, Division 6.
Good morning, and again, welcome. I'm Arno Dirksen, the Reeve of the County, and Councillor for Division 9, the GEM area.
Good morning, Matt Fensky, CAO.
Good morning, Holly Johnson, Division 4, the areas of Scandia, Rainier, and Bow City.
Hello, Adina Scandrup, Division 2, the hamlet of Tilly and surrounding area.
Good morning, I'm Lynette Kopp, Division 3, Patricia Millicent area.
Catherine Siakla, Communications Officer.
Ariana Nielsen, Executive Assistant.
Good morning, Sandra Stanway, Brooks Bulletin.
Jeff Tiffin, I manage the Planning Development and Engineering Departments.
Rob McCrady, Janet McCrady.
And Gary McCrady.
Marie Chorney. Heather Smith, and we're all from the head gates.
Okay, thank you. Welcome all. And we'll provide an opportunity for some comments and a presentation. But Mark, you're going to summarize the matter at hand for us. Please.
Well, thank you and good morning. The matter at hand is the McCrady family submitted a letter of request to council for the purposes of considering golf carts on county paved pathways. With that, I just want to introduce to council through the executive summary of the RFD, consideration of for the use of golf carts on county pathways was not considered in the design of the pathway. And currently, their use is prohibited in the Memorandum of Understanding with the Eastern Irrigation District, from which we have that leased land for to get us down to Kinbrook and even north and west of the Headgates development. So with that, golf carts were not considered as a use in the design of county pathways. They range in width from 1.9 to 1.27 meters. That could vary as well. I don't have all makes and manufacturers. That was the AI response to me in my search on Google. When we retained McElhaney Engineering for the professional engineering services in the design of the project, it was confirmed through the pathway committee that we were looking for a 2.5 meter wide pathway fit within 5 meters of land, because that was what we were able to acquire and satisfy the pathway to where we needed to get between destinations. Factors in determining pathway width and surface type included the anticipated number of trail users, user types including walking, jogging, cycling, mobility aided, etc. Being accessibility and barrier free was a key topic in the design. Typical pathway width and design of other communities, including current county pathway widths, which we had 600 meters north of the office here running to the CRA before we started constructing everything to Kinbrook. And of course, cost. At the time of budgeting, due to estimated cost of construction, following design, County Council actually deliberated whether it would have a paved surface to it or not, because the costs we're up in the category of questioning whether we should be doing that or not. Communities such as Canmore and stuff, they have gravel pathways. And it was debated by council about being barrier-free and accommodating all types of persons with mobility limitations and whatnot. And it was ultimately justified and supported that we went with a paved surface so that everybody could get out for the enjoyment of the pathway between the county office and Kinbrook Island. Currently, to highlight other matters, pending council's decision, the county bylaw use of pathways defines the types of acceptable use on pathways as bicycles or wheeled conveyance, where wheeled conveyance is defined meaning any human-powered vehicle or electric mobility aid scooter or electric bicycle or electric scooter, but does not include any vehicle with an internal combustion engine. Barrier-free access has been a priority, which includes all wheeled conveyances as per the traffic bylaw. McElhaney has thoroughly reviewed and modified spacing on the gate width, so we're putting up gates to protect people from just jetting out onto our roadways and stuff. We don't always have them exactly at the roadway crossing because it's based on what available land we have. So if you were to go south of the office, you'd be 90 degrees to the road currently with the one going east-west towards the resort. But to make sure that all of those uses can be accommodated to navigate those gates, but still control what shouldn't be on the pathway as per the definition of the bylaw. With that, and as part of this request, I also did a review of other bylaws, City of Brooks, City of Medicine Hat, which is summarized in the RFD for yourselves in your consideration here. Lacombe County as well. I'll just highlight, not included in this, but Lacombe County is the first county to undertake a special project with the province of Alberta for golf carts, which is on roadways in their summer villages, and that is to go from one summer village to another, more or less. When I contacted colleagues at Lacombe County about is that also providing connectivity through pathways, they said absolutely not. That is not what our pathways were constructed for. That is why we're seeking this endeavor of golf carts on roadways. So I thought that would be some feedback also for your consideration in this. And a couple of options there for consideration, but the recommendation that the council accept the letter of request as information only.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Are there questions, or does I think someone from the McCrady family would like to add to the letter for information? Please welcome, Mrs. McCrady. Yeah, just there's a mic there. That's probably the best way to.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Janet. We're just looking for accessibility for somebody that, like our son now, we have all electric vehicles that can, he's got a recumbent bike that goes on the pathway, and we love it. We love that pathway. We're really, really so grateful to have it for us. But the only issue is that it's not accessible if he were to be in an accident and flip over or something else happen. We would like to be able to get our golf cart there because he cannot walk. So we'd like to be able to get the golf cart there so we could get him on the golf cart and get him home. There's no other way to access it without having that available. And the second thing is there's a lot of seniors that are out at the head gates, mostly seniors, and they can't walk or ride a bike, but it would be really nice if they could get out to see the lake and the pathway there, not as a tourist attraction or anything, but we just really would love to have that access. And if we had to do it with a permit or whatever means, we'd be really happy to do that. But accessibility is really our main concern right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Appreciate that. Are there any questions from any of council for Mrs. McCrady? Greg, go ahead.
Thanks, Janet. Good to see you. This might be for Mark. The electric wheelchairs, you see some individuals, even in Brooks, driving those electric wheelchairs, I guess you would say, on sidewalks and even on the road and things like that. Are those allowed on the pathway?
Those electric mobility aids, yes.
Thank you, Lynette, and then Neil.
Mark had brought up the gates that are going to be on the pathway. Are they there yet? And there would be no way to get a golf cart onto the path.
They are present, and they will remain locked because they're there for the purposes that we can unlock them to swing them open to get our maintenance equipment through, which is permitted under the Memorandum of Understanding with the EID, because they expect that snow clearing, ice control, and other maintenance services are being done. So even when Ag Services goes out to do the pathway mowing or weed control spraying and stuff, they'll have to be able to get their equipment through there at least.
Thanks, Mark. Lynette.
Just a little follow-up to that. If there was an emergency on the pathway, what have we put in place to be able to get EMS there? Or
EMS will have access as they need to be, and if it comes down to it, then EMS would likely be cutting bolts, or Mr. Cochran, as you just appointed, would be responding as well, and they would find. There are also alternative access points to that across EID land. That's not public access points, but they have people going in which emergency services will find a way to access no matter what the situation is.
Thanks, Mark. Neil.
No, that was my question exactly. How would EMS access it? It's a good point. Like, somebody has to be able to get out there.
I think we appreciate the fact the concern for access and all of that, and I think in the large context of where we're at with this pathway and what it provides to the community, I think there's been quite a bit of consideration given over time with regard to how this will develop, and certainly for emergency situations, those are handled apart from standard practice. But I think I also appreciate the fact that standard practice needs to, you know, side-by-side equipment is larger. It's a bigger setup to allow onto the pathway. So appreciate your concern. Mr. McCrady, did you want to make, come to the mic, please, if you would.
I was saying, I just want to say we had a conversation with EMS, and we were told if anything did, somebody sprained a leg, broke a leg on the path, they would not be able to, it would be really hard to get access for them, is what they told us. That's the reason we're here.
Okay, thank
because
you.
You're saying there is access, and we were told by EMS there isn't.
Greg, go ahead, and then Kelly.
Yeah, I think that definitely is something of a concern, and that we're definitely going to have to look into, Mark. Also, with respect to the motorized wheelchairs, is that acceptable for you, Gary and Janet, as far as seniors being able to access the pathway? Because I'm just wondering, most seniors, if they're able, and they're able to get around, as many do with those wheelchairs, is that not acceptable?
Well, it is acceptable, but not a lot of people have them. A lot of people live out at the North Head Gates already own a golf cart, and they're access to the cart, but not access to the pathway. It's not just us; it's other neighbors, other people that live out there that own a golf cart that would really like to use it but can't.
Okay, thank you. Kelly, you got a comment?
Well, just simply that possibly the golf cart could be traded in for a mobility chair. I'm just wanting to help you out here a bit. If you give a little, we'll give a little, but pathways are meant for individual passage, and golf carts are meant for the golf course. So even traveling in your subdivision on a road is not legal in the golf course, in the golf cart. So there's several things to consider, like how do you get it from the road to the pathway legally? You can't. So I'm just suggesting that maybe there are alternatives that you could look into as far as seniors go for getting on this pathway.
Okay, thank you. I think we have a tremendous resource in the pathway that has been built, and there's been a tremendous investment in that for people who are able to do that. I think we'll appreciate the presentation that you've made this morning, and we'll take it as information, and we'll look into the aspects, the details that maybe seem to be uncertain. But I think that certainly in terms of emergency, there is and there does need to be access in appropriate ways. The physical size of the pathway will determine what kind of equipment can go in there from an EMS perspective. So we'll look into that and appreciate the presentation you've made this morning. Thank you very much. And I do expect that the presence of the pathway into the future will provide various opportunities that will, together as residents as well, look for ways of accommodating people to get onto there, whether that's some new equipment that maybe isn't even readily available at this point. Those are things that will be looked at, I'm sure. So thank you for your presentation this morning. We appreciate you coming in and share your priority to allow as many, or facilitate as many people going out there as we can in a practical way that also keeps people safe and keeps the patrol requirements for the pathway to a minimum as well. So thank you very much for coming in. Anything else to add, Matt or Mark? Matt. Please.
Oh, just the comment on the emergency services. I think that was good information for administration to receive, and we'll be sure to make contact both internally with our fire services folks and our EMTs in the community, so we've got a clear path for responding to any pathway emergencies.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept this presentation as information? Kelly, all in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Diane is here. Are you prepared to go a little early, ahead of schedule? Welcome. Brooks and District Health Foundation. Welcome, Diane.
Just push the button.
Okay. Thank you for allowing us to come and give our update, whether it's quarterly or annually or when we get to it. Life gets busy, so some of you have heard our update at various other meetings, joint services, or at the get-together we had at the JBS Center. So on behalf of the Health Foundation, we appreciate the opportunity to be here and keep you informed on what we're up to. So overall, foundation activities, our 24-25 fiscal year, which ends March, was very successful. We have a very generous community. We have been the recipients of numerous estate donations, which allow us to continue to do incredible things on behalf of our community at the hospital. The foundation is very proud to be the steward of those funds and make sure that our greatest needs are being met. We continue to have strong support from local organizations and businesses and individuals alike, and various non-profit groups, especially the youth community has been really wonderful in helping continue to try and do their part as philanthropists. So that's been a great asset to our site. So the foundation overall, I'll maybe give you a quick overview of what our role is in the community, again, just in case there's anybody that's not familiar. Fundraising and financial support. We raise funds for equipment, facility upgrades, program, and sometimes research, but not necessarily. We support both acute care and community-based health services. Community engagement, we act as a bridge between the community and the healthcare system. We identify needs at the hospital, either as we wander around the site or through patients, their families who've been there, and also through the teams that work there. They come to us with funding requests for various things. We continue to encourage community involvement and donations. We support the innovation of innovation, like partnerships with AHS and academic sites and that kind of stuff. So there's new partnerships with the University of Lethbridge as they have added a medical component faculty to their program, as well as we continue to work with Calgary, University of Calgary. So that's great. And Medicine Hat College, we're looking at different partnerships with them because they also do training of LPNs, EMS, and that kind of stuff. Donor stewardship's our main thing. We look after maintaining strong relationships with our donors and continuing to ensure transparency and accountability for those funds that are being donated. On the healthcare advocacy part of it, we advocate to improve healthcare services tailored to our regional needs. We support AHS's goals to ensure that voice of local community is heard and help to reflect regional needs in healthcare planning, which communications are improving, and we're working on that with AHS and our current governments at all levels, and that's part of this interaction that we're doing here today. Our main focus, of course, is local health care and our hospital. So many of you were at the workshop or the meeting we had with RPAP and City of Joint Services Economic Development, trying to address the issue related to attraction and retention. That has continues to be kind of a big gap in our community. And as we move forward, we're seeing more issues on that front, that not necessarily a health foundation issue, but it's come to our attention. And so we're trying to initiate conversation and get people involved in how do we address this before it becomes a problem. So that meeting we had, and a number of you were there, was very good. It was very enlightening. We recognize a lot of gaps that we have in our community. And currently our biggest concern is going to be our physician count and our ability to serve the people in our region. Because we're looking at, in the next number of years, that doctors have brought to our attention that there's currently potentially 3 doctors that we'll be losing in the next number of years. So we are trying to help them with, or trying to figure out where the foundation fits in helping them and helping our community maintain the number of doctors and increase our number of doctors. So that was a really good initial meeting, and we're going to continue to have those meetings. Those of you that were there got the recap of the meeting and the things that were highlighted. So we're currently looking at talking to the doctors that are recruiting, and I think they're recruiting by default because we actually don't have an attraction and retention committee, which actually surprised me. I did not realize we didn't have that in our community. So we're working on that with them and RPAP in the city. So hopefully we can continue to move forward, and we're going to bring other affected parties to the table that may have issues or may have stuff to contribute to that as well. So on the projects and priorities, things that we're working on, equipment and program support. Recent purchases include the eSIM mannequins, bassinets, accessibility tables, translator devices. We've had those at the hospital now. Ongoing support for mental health therapy, recreation therapy, and acute patient activities. Those are things we're continuing. It's on an ongoing basis. We provide funding for activities for those specific groups. So that's ongoing. Capital projects. So this is exciting. The Sim Lab, we've committed $260,000 to that project. The Tim Hortons fundraiser, the Smile Cookies, we raised $26,000. We've got about $84,000 to meet our goal there. We're having a big fundraiser in September. A number of you, I think, are going to be attending that, which we greatly appreciate that support. We got some really exciting items for our live and silent auctions. It should be a fun night. And we sold out relatively quick, so that was amazing. Palliative care room upgrades. We are renovating 3 rooms in Unit A. We're starting with room 109, and not to take rooms out of service, we're going to progressively move to the 3 rooms and get them done. We have funds available to do that. We're also working in partnership. We did a presentation or sent a letter to Prairie Rose, and that they are working on, I believe, whether or not they're going to provide funding for this project. So we're waiting confirmation on that, and we greatly appreciate that partnership. And those are the kind of partnerships we reach out to the community for. Doctor's lounge and sleep rooms. So we are upgrading those currently, which is great because we have, I think we're going to have 5 students, locums, and interns rotating through in the next 6 months. And currently they're limited to the space that they have available at the hospital for resting in between shifts or between patients or whatever is happening in ER. So we're upgrading those rooms and hope to have them done. The staff at the hospital is working aggressively on getting those done. So we have a number of projects on the go. They love us. Family meeting and chapel rooms. So where the ER room was a broom closet, we've cleaned it out and made it back to the family emergency room right by ER that families can meet in a case of an incident in their life, but they're close to ER. So that has been cleaned out, and we're going to put a few furnishings in that. The chapel room is in the process of being upgraded as well, just to make it a little more accessible for everybody, as well for meeting with family physicians and as a group of family members, whatever the need might be, but private. So Wi-Fi upgrade is an interesting concept. Wi-Fi is really challenging. We are, I think, getting close to the end of this runaround we've been having for 2 years, trying to get our Wi-Fi upgraded at the hospital. It's a challenge because there's the hospital, AHS has their own system that has to be encrypted. They also have a guest system, and then there's the Health Foundation, so, or the public use, and that's the Health Foundation is looking into that. And hopefully we get that under control so that all those new TVs that have been generously donated can be run and streaming and all that. Like, it's quite a system. So it involves infrastructure, logistics, security, and all of that. So and then we're looking into Brooksnet as possibly the provider, and the city is receiving that as well on our behalf. Once we know what we need to do, they will review maybe potential partnership on that as well. So that's exciting. We're also looking at upgrading ER. If anybody's been in ER, you'll notice that it could use an update, and in particular the curtains. Everybody knows everybody, so if you're in there getting an exam of the private type, you might not want your neighbor next door to know that. But we're looking at getting that, so we got a quote coming. They're working on a quote for us, and that'll be in our fiscal 26-27 is our goal for that, and that will be a big project. But we, like I said earlier, we have funding from a number of estates that is going to help with that, and then we'll reach out to our community for some of our bigger corporations that for financial support on that project as well. And then overall, just a quick update on the Brooks Health Center. We currently have 76 beds, 28 acute care beds, 24 long-term beds. That includes 9 new long-term care beds or community transition beds, 9 subacute beds, 10 emergency beds, 5 palliative convalescent beds, and those are the ones that are the community transition, and then 3 labor and delivery. And so we continue to proudly serve our community, and that's only possible with the donations and the support of our community. So that's what's going on at the Health Foundation in a nutshell.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Diane, and thank you for the good work you do on behalf of all of us in the community on an ongoing basis. We appreciate it very much. And okay. I'll open it for questions if anyone has any questions or comments. Greg, and then Ellen, please.
Dan, I really appreciate what you do. I never realized how much the Health Foundation does. In the last couple years, even with being on joint services, I never really realized, the extent of what you do, and it's much appreciated. And have much more knowledge with respect to the Health Foundation, and there's so much more to learn and contribute. So thank you very much for what you do.
It takes a team and takes a village, and we're proud of what we do.
Thank you. Ellen, go ahead.
Sorry, I got stuck. So is Alberta Health Services involved at all in the upgrades of the rooms, or is it just...
They are involved in the design. And so how it works is when we come up with a project, and it's not necessarily us even just coming up with the project. Sometimes the community identifies that there's a project that needs to be upgraded. So they'll come to us and say, look, Unit A's family room is a really good example. It used to have carpet and was quite nasty and never really got used and whatnot. One of the families who lost their mom noticed that room needed to be upgraded. So they actually donated the funds to do it, and we motivated AHS to get it done. It took us 2 years, but as our board continues to evolve and we understand the system of how AHS works. We've gotten really good at getting things done. We've decided everybody in AHS needs to know we want to get something done. By 8 o'clock the next morning, we usually have somebody's moving the ball to get it done, because they'll know they're going to get another email, and it'll include a few more people. So that's how we're doing it. So to date, we've probably I missed that in there, is we've probably invested close to $7 million in the hospital since the foundation was incorporated. So, and that's our community.
That's big work. That's good.
Yeah. So.
Okay, thank you very much again, and
Well,
thanks for coming in
it's
today.
a whole team of people behind the
Yeah.
scenes that does it, so.
Sure, yeah.
I'm just here to update.
Well, that's great. Thank you for that. Yep.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay, let's move on to item number 9.3. I think we're up to the Scandia Community Hall request for support. Matt, you're going to update us on that, or?
Yeah, I'll take council through this one. So we received a letter requesting some support from our internal staff to take care of old chain link fence and some posts. We had our manager of operations prepare an estimate for what he thinks that looks like in terms of time and what the value of that would pencil out to be. Our guys are open to it. They'd fit it in when it makes sense, and they'd coordinate with the community center to get that work done. Council will remember there's a new community hall going up. I'm not exactly sure where that's at in stage of construction, but as I go down south towards Highway 3, I make a point of swinging by. So I know the structure is up, and it's looking pretty great out there. And I think the ultimate vision for them out there is to resurface that court and do something cool with it. So administration, we're open to it if council supports it, and we'll leave it in your hands.
Thank you, Matt. We have a recommendation. Any questions or comments or a motion to approve as recommended? Or, go ahead, Kelly.
My question is, who has title to that property? Is that county land?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Makes a difference.
Greg. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in all support of this. Let's get that old chain link down and get that kind of revitalized there. Just as a suggestion, I don't know if this is for county staff or for the people out at Scandia, is that the city of Brooks is looking at resurfacing the sport court just right by the Catholic school there, the tennis courts. So there may be an opportunity for some of that sport court flooring that might be available at a cheap price if we can get it from them. So it's something to look into. We have it out at the Lake Newell Resort, and I tell you, it is used, and there's no complaints over being it slippery or it coming apart or anything like that. So I think if the county and Scandia in specific can use that, that would be great. And I would like to make that motion to go ahead with this.
Thank you, Greg. Any further comments? Lynette, please go ahead.
Just a comment, if it's at all recyclable, it would be nice if those things would be recycled.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Item 9.4, councillor payment sheets. Those have been circulated. Is there anything we need a motion of acceptance unless there's changes or comments? Someone move acceptance of the councillor payment sheets. Lynette? Moved. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. Requests for functions of council. Amanda, please.
I actually have a couple. The Rural Futures, it was a Zoom meeting, 10:30 till 11:45. It was on June 2nd. Sorry, it's already happened. And the Farm Family BMO Award for Rosemary. Is that a function of council?
Yes, that is a function of council.
Okay.
Go ahead, Holly.
What was the one on July 2nd? I didn't catch that.
June 2nd, that was Rural Futures, and that was very much like the or the RPAP meeting as well. And there was just stakeholders from all over Alberta, just an open group session.
Physical, in person, right?
Rural Futures. Zoom.
Zoom, okay. Okay, you're moving, would that be a function of council? Yeah. I think it's part of the job that you're doing on behalf of all of us, so Ellen, go ahead.
I'll make that a motion as a function of council.
Okay, any further comments? All in favor, please indicate. Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. The farm family, that happened last week. That's a function of council. I think we've dealt with that. Yeah. Any other functions of council? Seeing none, we will move on to our Director of Municipal Services. Welcome back again, Mark.
It's July.
It is.
Time flies when you're having fun. Update for June, written and attached to your agenda for you. Really, some of the highlights are we're starting to get some of our equipment and stuff that we've been waiting on for a while, getting that all up and running. Some trailers have been showing up and whatnot, so that's good. Gravel roads, grader operators, please be patient. They've been involved in dust abatement. I had a couple of days rain delay, and other than that, they work in tandem to get the dust abatement done. Next to one another, whoever borders shares in responsibilities of opening or closing the roads as part of the program. So they are just getting back to their normal rotation, so it's going to take a while. I know there's washboard. I know that there's dust. We have some moisture perhaps coming in the forecast here again. Not too much, but something to get back into the road surfaces and hopefully get things to tighten up and allow them to do their work and get rid of the washboard that's out there. Truck drivers, they're making headway on the gravel road program. Still have a few spots out there where roads are still soft from spring. So we're continuing to get the grader operators, grade those up, dress them with more gravel, trying to get them firm up, tighten up. Just different spring, it's still going on. The significant rain event that we had, that definitely didn't help soft spots firm up. That just caused them to blow up on us again. So working with some of that, but nothing that we can't get beyond. Maintenance operators, they were busy with the dust abatement program as well, because they take the lead hand positions in the water trucks and taking care of the crews. Seasonals assist in that as well. So that was really the primary for June. That program started a few days earlier, and unfortunately we did not complete the program prior to July 1st like we always intend to. We were a few days beyond that, but in all I think it was only about 14 or 15 days that it took again. That includes some weekend work. So all in all, went well, looks pretty good. Had to redress some of it just with water and get it graded and packed back up. Range Road 15-0 just west of here over at Martin Industrial and Westland Acres. They just did it, got that rain, got all pounded out, potholed out, just graded it up, add a little bit of water, pack it back down, and things should hold together now as long as we don't have another major rain event. Engineering, Lake Newell Resorts, Block 1 and 4, just had their open house here earlier this Tuesday, this week. Another 40 people in attendance, I understand. Seems pretty positive with everything. And Jeff and his team will continue with that with planned commencement on July 21st. Line painting, been deferred and rescheduled, contractor availability, whatnot, so hopefully completed by the end of July. Kinbrook Island Connection Pathway, you can see things are going on here with the trailhead. It's coming along. Arches are not something that everybody likes to construct. I remember when they did the arch behind council chambers too, they didn't have much fun trying to get that curve correct. There is a curve in the planter box that will have the donation bricks and everybody's names on them, so they've had to work to form fit all that. History is always a surprising thing, but we did find a extra concrete pile next to the flagpoles that I don't remember, and nobody else remembers that. Where was it? Why was it? Anyway, it caused a little bit of grief when we tried to get the piles in for the Trailhead Plaza, but they're beyond that now as well, and found our way. So even in more recent times, as-built drawings don't always reflect things, and nobody has a memory to recall that either. So maybe something was done in error, but I went through all 93 change orders and didn't find that there was an extra pile for some reason. So good times. Lake Newell Resort Pathway, still looking to get that air release valve relocated, and then they'll start on the pathway construction, which it's just a pathway, no benches, no sunshades, get pathway built. Tilly Lagoon desludging is complete. Used 2 geotube bags out of anticipated 4. They did not find the sludge in the cells that they thought they would find. So we had them carry on with some other work that we were going to defer to just use the budget that was allocated and get more done that was identified to be done. So our team is currently setting up a pump system. The fluids that drain out of those bags end up in a little bit of a sump, and we need to pump that back to the lagoon. So we purchased about 1,200 feet of lay flat hose, 4-inch, that ties onto one of our trash pumps, and we'll just monitor it as fluids, rains, whatever dictate to get that sump pumped out so that those solids continue to dry, and then we'll have to make our arrangements with the landfill to be able to haul what needs to be hauled to the landfill. And if there is an opportunity, which we have one landowner that swears there's been no nitrogen placed on a parcel of his land, we'll get it tested and see if he can accept some of those solids for use in his agricultural operation rather than filling up a landfill. So looking at that stuff. Tilly landfill project tender's been advertised, so get that wrapped up this year too. We're going to knock a lot of things off the history list out of those books here this year. And yeah, Terry's still working on some of his work and whatnot, and moving forward. Permitting activity, we're kind of hanging in there with the average, but yeah, we're trending above the 3 and 5 year average anyway with that sort of stuff. But things are good. Answer any questions that I hopefully
Thanks,
can for you.
Mark. Are there questions? Adina, and then Kelly.
This isn't a question,
Right.
but just a comment. Boy, did you shake things up with your request for the Tilly landfill closure. Everybody was like, they're closing the transfer station. They didn't even talk to us about it. It was not a proud moment for me, I tell you what, because I'm like, there's a difference. And do you honestly think because I'm always telling them, we are a growth hamlet. You actually think as a growth hamlet, they would shut down your transfer station and not talk to you about it. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there.
Thanks, Adina. Kelly.
Mark, can you outline the process when a gravel lay takes place? The trucks come along, they lay the gravel. How long before the grade?
Just when the grader operator picks it up in his next rotation.
Right.
We're not taking them away from the service level that they've got there to go up and take another day or so to lay out what's been spread. Spreads are always done in the middle, and we're not where we were 17 years ago, say. They're not spreading a foot thick where if you were driving in it, you'd be having problems. We've got workload balancing. We're trying to do 25% of all county roads every year. So thinner spreads more often and keep roads more consistent rather than you've got a whole bunch of gravel that goes on a road. Most of it ends up in the ditch through winter or motorists or whatever, and then have to be back. So that's why we don't go out anymore.
Yeah.
20 years ago, they used to.
It has improved for sure.
Yeah.
I was just on a road that does have the jump
Transition
still,
on it?
The transition, yeah. But just regular grading as
Yeah,
it comes.
I'll just take that comment and feed it back to the gravel foreman to make sure that if there's anything at intersections and stuff that's being done, that just be mindful of how thick it gets spread and whatnot.
Thanks, Mark. Greg.
I just want to say that the communication with respect to the Tilly landfill and other things on Facebook and social media is excellent. It does encourage comments and replies, and that sense of communication is really, really great. So keep it up. One question, you may not want to answer it or may not want to go there, but the bridge, pathway bridge, I see it's still blocked off. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, we're allowed to use the pathway, but the bridge is fenced off. Can I just get a timeline explanation? What's on the go there?
To reiterate, well, I won't be smart. So the situation is we were contacted by the contractor about youth jumping from the bridge. So just as well with the rest of the pathway is still under contract. The County of Newell is not the owner of any of it yet, other than the 600 meters that was built previously. We have not issued FAC from the county office south for the first 2.4 kilometers, and we have not issued substantial completion for the pathway beyond that either. Contractor may be coming forward for a request for substantial on portions or all of, but it was from the contractor who identified the youth jumping from the bridge. And so it was just reiterated through my office to our engineer that whose construction site is it, whose liability is it until it's turned over, because as the owner, it's not us. Prime has been delegated through the contract to the contractor. With that, just said to them, you've identified what the concern is, where the liability or risk is. You need to do what you need to do to secure the site until the liability can be managed, whether it's through signage going up on the bridge or whatever, which the engineer has designed. It's on order. When we receive it, secure it to the bridge at both ends, because you have to walk past that sign to get onto the bridge. We will put the signs up. Eastern Irrigation District was also involved in the review. It's a very simple sign. No diving, no jumping, no fishing. I don't need somebody riding by on a bike and getting a hook caught in them. They're not the fish. It's not the target. I want people to be safe passing each other on the bridge for what it was intended to be used for. So we'll get those signs up, and once substantial is there, then security and ownership can be transferred on things. Okay. As for access to the pathway right now, further to that, to explain more, what the contractor does to keep the site secure or open for public use is currently on them. It is not the county. We appreciate that people have the ability to go out and access, but the message that we've had on social media is the pathway is closed. There are natural and man-made hazards present, and that's where we sit. It's not for us to fulfill any obligations of the contractor, because once we start, it's our liability that comes into that. So,
thanks, Mark. Any other comments, questions, or a motion to approve? Holly, go ahead. Mike.
I think it's been 2 or 3 years since the gravel study started showing up, and it's dropped off our reports. So will we ever see that, or did it just disappear?
Gravel study is complete. How we go about engaging council with locations and or anticipated costs is probably another discussion with some landowners, if I make it plural, because it's highly confidential business intelligence for the county that if private finds out, it might get scooped, and we don't want that. So your pre-budget meeting that's coming up Monday, it not coming up then, we'll look to engage you perhaps in the future in an in-camera session for some direction perhaps. But it's all pretty standard, and we think we should be able to have some success with it anyway. We've got locations identified that are of definite interest to the county with volumes that are of interest to us. So,
thanks, Mark. A motion to approve, Adina.
I move we approve this municipal report.
Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, Mark. Pardon me. We're moving on to The speed zone review for secondary 873.
Yeah, I'll take that one. Jeff had to slide out because he's dealing with the Tilly Lagoon right now. So this is just a consistency thing and process that a request has to go through to the MLA's office for speed zone change, and happens to be our premier at the same time. So the transition zone doesn't align. The 70 is currently offset from the 100. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And through the JBS Road and Township Road 19-2 North review, this has been identified, particularly for that Highway 873 19-2 intersection safety. So we'd just like council to give us approval to write a letter to the MLA's office requesting for the sign to be relocated to be offset from its 100-kilometer-hour car.
Mark, pretty straightforward. Greg, please.
Yeah, I'd like to make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you, Mark. That brings us to post-agenda items, and there is one. That's the question of whether we want to invite the Intensive Livestock Working Group to come and make a presentation to us. I had a call with regard to that a while back, and I wasn't sure that it was a necessary thing. Hopefully you've had a chance to read through the information sheet. Any direction from council with regard to that, they would come to a future meeting that would be arranged by staff when it was convenient for us if we want to do that. Greg?
Yeah, I think it would be a good thing, especially for us non-cattle people. I think it would be good education.
No, I fully respect that, but I thought it was good for us to decide that. So you make that motion to invite them to attend when it's usually amenable. All in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. It being 5 minutes to 12. Holly, go ahead.
There's the Stars Base Tour as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. 11.2, I missed that. Yeah, okay. Stars Base Tour. What do we want to do there? Ariana, you've got some information for us?
Yeah, I believe last meeting Jackie mentioned there was an opportunity to have a Stars Base Tour. She provided an email with additional information there. So I guess she's looking for some dates in September that council will be into. The tours are maximum of 2 hours, and she was wondering if you wanted to invite other municipalities or emergency services as well. So yeah, just looking for dates and direction, I guess.
And there's some limits on capacity, I think, as well, with regard to how many or who we would. I think the consideration there was if we were to invite all of the fire crews, it would expand the capacity beyond what they're able to handle in one sitting. What's council's wish on that? Do we want to attend, and do we want to invite others, or what's your pleasure? Lynette, please.
What is the amount of capacity?
25, I think, yeah. People, yeah. Greg and then Neil. Yeah.
Can I suggest second or third week in September?
Okay. Yeah, staff can work with that. And what do you want to do? Do you want to invite neighboring municipalities to join us there? Pardon me?
It would either, I'm sorry, an either or, either municipalities or emergency services. We couldn't invite both, I don't think, right?
No, that's right. Probably, yeah, depending on what the uptake would be as well, even from our own group. So,
Like your friends, council.
I think it makes sense. Yeah, Matt's suggesting we invite neighboring councils to join us. I think that's a reasonable thing. Probably firefighters or the emergency crew, they'll go on their own or together, probably more fittingly. So we'll go ahead with that. Do we need a motion? Yeah. Let's have a motion, Greg.
Yeah, I'll make that motion and to invite the neighboring councils.
Okay, all in favor, please indicate. That is carried. That takes us close to the end of our agenda, other than in camera, right? We'll move in camera. So just with regard to the rest of the schedule, we're going to meet with RMA in 166, right? About 1 o'clock. So let's, a motion to move in camera would be accepted. Holly, all in favor that we move in camera, please indicate. That is carried.